Welcome to Afi Reveriw bra sewalong video tutorial. This is part 1. In this video I will concentrate on pattern particularities and gathering supplies. The main goal is to plan your design according to bra requirements. Without further ado, let's get started. First thing we start with is to print the instruction booklet from cover to finish. Let's look for a moment at the front picture. The sketch on the cover shows these green pieces. However, I will make the bra including the green sections, from this pink fabric. Don't be scared by the thickness of the booklet. There are a lot of pages. This is a beginner-friendly pattern with lots of info. And in the videos, I will try to cover as many details as possible. Next up are the pieces. There are quite a few pieces for this bra. I will be making a EU 75C bra. That's 34C in either US or UK sizing. The size is displayed on the top left corner of the page. This size has pieces on 3 pages. You can easily spot if you printed the correct pages, because each size has its own color for the size box. When printing, one of the pages has this printing scale box. It's best you print that one page only to check the scale. With a ruler, measure along the horizontal line of the box. The 4 cm on the ruler must match the 4 cm on the line. Then, turn and measure along the vertical segment of the box. The length is the same, 4 cm. The reason for checking in both direction is because it has happened to me once, when the pattern printed fine horizontally, but the vertical direction was distorted. If you're working with the inch system, then you need to measure those, both vertically and horizontally. If the box printed smaller, you would have to increase the scaling settings and try printing again. If the box is bigger, reduce the printing scale settings. I am now moving on to cutting the pieces from my pages one by one, following the thicker black outer lines. This is a rather boring operation, that's why I will fast forward the video. You take your time to carefully cut your pieces. There's one subject I want to bring up here, as a note that applies to all my patterns. In the construction notes chapter, I always mention the seam allowance width. For this pattern it is 8 mm. This value goes well with all brother sewing machines. In inches, that value is 5/16 of an inch, and I am very much aware that it does not suit other sewing machines brands. Many of you are accustomed with narrower seam allowances. The good news is, with my patterns you can see the original pattern lines. And that means, you can either draft your own seam allowances. Or, because most of you use narrower seam allowances, you can simply cut a smidge in, of the outer lines. With that said, I will continue speed cutting the rest of my paper pieces. Look at this pile. Let's sort them out. This bigger one coded as B3 is the back. Then comes the B2, that is called the power bar. This section is the band that sits under the arm, and spreads towards the cup. Then, at the bottom we've got the B1, that is the cradle. This one will be under our breast. In the center front, we've got this little A2 piece, which by the way, is already mirrored. On top of it, we have the A1 neckline stripe. The neckline is a fluid continuation of the bridge all the way up hugging the power bar. Then we have the bottom cup pieces, which will join nicely in a vertical seam. While the C1 is the upper cup and will join the bottom cups with a seam that I call the diagonal seam. We're left with, oh, what's this little weird piece? This one I call a sling. And it goes beneath the bottom cup. This one is to enhance support. Let me quickly show it to you in a bra I made earlier. Here it is. A power net piece like a little pocket. Although you can certainly hide some stuff in there, its main role is not that. With pieces sorted out, there is something important to understand. The requirements are listed in the bra requirements chapter. The fabrics matter in this bra, more than anything. There are sections of the bra that must meet certain criteria. Some are mandatory to stretch, some are vital to not stretch, and then there are most that you have total choice within given limits, for the stretch amount. The little A2 piece must not stretch at all, while the back B3 must provide stretch and recovery. Then we also have the sling from stretch with good recovery. And for this bra I chose the upper cup to be stretch with good recovery too, like the previous two pieces. As you can see, I kind of separated the pieces to plan the fabric choice. Most of the pieces, those with permissive requirements, will be made from my main fabric. The one that gives the main color for the bra. I went ahead and chose this pink one with a shiny surface on one side. It looks very much like Duoplex. But in fact, it is not. This fabric has a very nice stretch, while Duoplex doesn't stretch, and only has some mechanical give. If you want to use Duoplex, that is totally fine. But if you choose a stretch fabric like I did here, you are further required to check your stretch amount. You can see in the booklet how to measure for that. Here I will emphasize that you can only use fabric that stretches maximum 30%. That is very, very important. Don't break the rules, because you will lose support. My pink nylon fabric is almost 30%, that's why I chose it. The safest bet is to go with a non-stretch fabric. With the main color and fabric selected, we can now move on. Next up is the fabric for the three pieces on the leftmost side. I've got here a beige power net. And I would say this is a medium to strong power net. To pull this you have to apply some force, and the recovery of this fabric is marvelous. This strong stretch mesh, which I call power net, is also used in underwired bras, or shapewear. That is why it makes a perfect choice for the back and the sling. I know it's a bit harder to source it. Many of you can easily get hands on a stretch mesh that's quite thin and stretches way too much in all directions. This is flimsy and provides very little to no support or shape. Please do not use this, not even if you want to put it in 2 layers. It simply is not suitable for this project. Let's see what we need to do next. I have the main fabric planned, and the support ensured with a good power net. We're done with most of the pieces, except a few. This little trio will also be made from lining. The cup pieces are lined because I love enclosed seams. Now, the bridge in my design has the top layer from that pink stretch fabric. I want a thin fabric to reduce bulkiness, and I am forced, by the bra requirements, to use a non-stretch fabric. And, because lining goes directly to my skin, I want something nice. From my other projects, I have this lace, where I have used the embroidered edge and I was left with this tulle on the other. This lace does not stretch at all, perfect for one, and only one, bridge piece. While the bottom cups will have pairs. Both cup pieces. We're almost done with the fabrics. Another thing we need to discuss is how to make the bra prettier. This is where I pick the upper cup. I have already decided that it will be made from that beige power net. This black line will guide the edge of the lace that will cover the beige power net, with my bottom cups made of the pink fabric. The upper cup on top from beige mesh will go with this perfect lace in a similar pink shade. After all, I want a truly delicate feminine bra. Did you make it so far? Because we are finally done discussing pieces and fabrics. Let's take a look at the notions. First up is the band elastic. That nice picot elastic with at least one side with a plush surface. I am going to go with this white color. Then I need to choose an elastic for the straps. I will go with white again. If you can use a wider than usual elastic, try using that for better comfort. And lastly, we have the edge on the neckline. Let me show you on a similar finished bra. The edge has a thin elastic applied to it. That is because you want to enclose the breast tissue. Make sure you use a nice to the touch elastic. This area is delicate. With a wrong choice, that edge can cut very uncomfortable into your skin. In comparison with the band elastic, I chose a picot elastic used for panties. It's a bit narrower. You can certainly use band elastic here as well, but I still recommend a narrower one. And let's not forget the tiniest pieces for a bra. The hardware, rings and sliders. A pair each. And the bra closure. Mine here is pink that should go smoothly with the main fabric. Or at least this is what I thought. The most unimportant part of the bra is that little bow that we will place at the center front. And finally, we are done choosing and planning our bra design following the strict requirements for the pattern. I will see you in the next video where I will show you how I cut my fabric pieces. See you there.